Hello and welcome. My name's Dr. Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and this is an explainer of the tarot spread, the Celtic Cross, my version of the one that I first learned when I picked up my first deck of tarot cards. So I'm going to go through each of the cards one by one and explain what that position means, and I'm also going to show you a card as a demonstration. So position one, the querent. So this position is the situation the querent finds themselves in. The card informs the rest of the reading, and each subsequent card is read in relation to this situation. So the querent is the person that you're doing a reading for, and it just explains their situation. Sometimes they might recognize it, and sometimes they may not understand or know. But when you say it out loud, they go, oh yeah, that's who I am right now. Or it makes some sort of sense and explains their current circumstances and situation, because sometimes it can be mixed up in the mind. So our demonstration card today is the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, he represents teaching, higher learning. So this person that we're talking about today may actually be in a position of wanting to learn something, wanting to look for a mentor, or they may want to be a teacher or a mentor. They may feel that they have enough wisdom to be going along with and to be that mentor or teacher. If you can't intuit what the card means for that person in that moment, then yes, the subsequent cards will actually tell you and give you a clue about where they're at, especially this next card. So position two, the crossing card. This card shows where the querent is blocked in their current situation. It will explain delays and setbacks that the querent may not be aware of. So position two is what is blocking this person. Now, because we have the Hierophant, and we know that the Hierophant is about higher learning and wisdom, mentoring, teaching, this person may be a student or they may be the teacher, and the blocking card is going to give us a clue about which one they are. So in this case, our second card is the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups represents contracts, unions, and like that collective support that gives us an opportunity to move forward. In this case, looking at these two cards together, I would interpret that the person is somebody who wants to teach and does not have the support system at the moment yet, or the understanding that they need to have that support system in order to move forward. They are lacking that in their lives, or they may be up against somebody or people in their lives that are not supportive and are not creating that sort of sacred union that they need. So in this instance, the Hierophant represents somebody who wants to teach, who has the wisdom to be able to pass knowledge on, and what they're lacking and what's blocking them is a loving, supportive support system that will help them nurture that part of themselves. On the other hand, having said that, if they were a student wanting to learn, the same thing applies. They do not have a loving, nurturing environment in order for that to be sustained. Position three, the conscious self. This position confirms what the querent already knows about themselves and their situation. This card will help the querent understand what they have control over. So for us in position three, which sits just above the querent card, up above, which is the known, is this card here, Four of Cups. So this is the situation that the querent finds themselves in. If we're talking about that they don't have that love and support, then their world at the moment, as they see it and as they know it, is one of gossip and like a little bit of gaslighting, a little bit of undermining. So they don't have the confidence to move forward as the Hierophant, because they are constantly listening to external voices. They might be constantly asking for advice, or saying, should I do this, move forward this way, or talking about their plans and somebody coming in and undermining them. That's their world. That's what they know at the moment. So this will be the thing that's contributing to not trusting to bring people in close, and not trusting their own wisdom that sits within them, that is represented by the Hierophant. Position 4 is the unconscious self. This card reveals what's bubbling away underneath the surface of the querent situation. It reveals hidden biases and judgments the querent may have no idea about. These unconscious biases may be keeping the querent trapped in an unhealthy behaviour pattern, or conversely, the unconscious bias may be the thing that's compelling them to move forward. So in this position, in position number 4, the card we have is the Ten of Cups. In this instance, the unconscious self is looking for contentment. They don't understand that. They don't realize that that's actually what's driving them. It's interesting that there are a lot of cups around, because this person, the querent, does not have a lot of faith in themselves, and so looking externally, they're looking for confirmation that they are in the right place. And what's driving all of that is the Ten of Cups, the sense of completion and contentment. They just want to find their spot. They may not know this. They may not understand that that's why they're asking questions. Or that they don't trust the people that's around them. They have all of this wisdom, but it hasn't been put into practice yet. And simply because they don't really, or maybe they haven't put it into practice yet, and all they're doing is that once they fulfill that position or fulfill that sense of self, then they know deep down that they are actually going to find that contentment. They don't understand that that's actually what's driving them above everything else. Position 5, the past. This card indicates the energy that formed the current situation and is now being left behind. The past is important to help us take responsibility for past behaviours and choices, and to be able to let them go. Okay, position 5. So this is the influence that's brought us here, but is now leaving us behind. So the first position was the Hierophant. What drove this person to want to explore that higher learning part of themselves, whether to be a teacher or the student, but it no longer influences moving forward. So in order to take that next step is to acknowledge what's brought them here, and that they don't need to constantly maintain that past influence. So here we have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles represents a person of influence that is quite stable. They might be somebody who's wealthy, or somebody who has, maybe if we're looking at somebody who wants to teach, or then the King of Pentacles would represent somebody who's been successful in the teaching field. And that person may have been the mentor that got them to this point. If they are the student, then this person would have been somebody of influence around them that kept them nice and stable and showed them what stability is all about. So they would have looked to this person for guidance, influence, and also a little bit of reassurance that it can be done. However, that person cannot take that guidance or influence with them into the future, because that person or that influence can no longer assist them. And it tells me that they must now find out for themselves. They've got to test the water themselves. This person can only take them so far, and they've reached that point of now testing it out for themselves. Position 6, future influence. This card indicates how the querent will be assisted to move forwards towards their future. Okay, so card number 6 in this case is the Death card. It's interesting that the Death card has shown up as a future influence, because the Death card really has no energy available. So what this is saying is that this person must sit still in their crap right now in order to move forward. They must sit and face what they've got, the situation truthfully and honestly, because the death card there is no creativity, there is no moving forward, and there's no energy to propel forward either. The only way, the helpful influence to get this person to move forward is to sit still in that space without anything else happening. In other words, they must look honestly at what they're doing, how they are, what's bothering them, and what's creating any disturbance. They must become honest with themselves. This card is not a card of doing, it's a card of sitting and still and being and waiting for that opportunity to open the next door. One door is shut, which is the King of Pentacles can no longer help that person. The death card says that door is shut now. However, the new door hasn't opened yet. So we are now sitting in a void space of no creativity, no movement, nothing. Now, we do not have to do or look at those things if we don't want to. However, effectively using the death card means that we take some measures, not as a doing thing, but we take measures to facilitate that looking at ourselves honestly. And that might be getting some therapy, getting some guidance or counseling, not for the thing that we'd like to do, but for our personal self journey. Remember, it's a lot of emotional stuff going on there, and that's what the death card is giving us time to explore. Position 7, the immediate future. This card indicates how the surrounding cards move the querent through their block and back on track. Okay, so the 7th card tells us that once all of these things are in play and once they've resolved themselves, where are we going to end up? Oh, look at this Empress card. Isn't that lovely? So the Empress card represents abundance. It represents the fullness of this project coming to fruition. She's very much a pregnancy card. So you can see abundance, pregnancy. So in other words, by taking the time to resolve our emotional stuff and being honest with ourselves and doing emotional self-healing, which the death card gives us the opportunity to do, and leaving behind that we can do this, that we don't need to have this other person or this other influence in our lives, that we can do this for ourselves and take that next step, it means that it creates a situation of abundance. In other words, there's lots of promise around, and that the hard work that we put in is going to pay off. So that's the outcome of following the flow of those previous 6 cards. Position 8, how others perceive the querent. This card helps the querent understand how they are seen by those close to them or working with them. This gives the querent a reflection of how their behaviour is perceived and how reactions to that behaviour are formed. Okay, so let's have a look at position 8, the perception of others. In this instance, we have the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords represents suppression. So what's happening with the querent, the person that we're doing the reading for, is that they think that the whole world is going to jump in on them and criticize them. They're going to push them down. So they are in a turmoil of taking that next step, because in the past, they have had an instance where the outside world has been critical of them, and that's crushed them. And so therefore, they will understand how they are viewing the world and how that world is formed by these other things that are going on. Once we start to work through this process and then step into our Empress card, that energy of that position 8 dissipates and starts to resolve itself, and it will start to change, because as our perception of ourselves changes, so does our perception of our outer world and the reaction of the outer world. But for now, the reason that's holding us back is because we think we're going to get oppressed, or somebody's going to say something terrible to us or put us down, and in the past that's hurt our feelings. All those cups that are around, right? So somebody's come in and said something quite cutting and shut us down. Position 9, hopes and fears. This card shows our higher selves' hopes and fears. The meaning of this card explores our deepest challenges. This position helps us understand the karmic lesson being played out in this circumstance. an opportunity for soul healing. So position 9 shows us really what's going on karmically for us. Like this is like our higher learning space. Why is all this happening right now? What is it that I'm being challenged by this? What's the bigger picture here? So we're looking at the what's playing out for us in our soul space, in our soul journey. And these are things that we have carried with us for lifetimes. We have an opportunity in this moment to also release a lesson, a life lesson, a soul journey lesson, a past life lesson as well. And this is an opportunity to facilitate that release. We can, when we bring in this card and understanding of that, then it sometimes can ease the burden of, oh, why am I going through this? Let's have a look at the card. 7 of Pentacles. So in this position, the hopes and fears card is that we are and have always been looking for it's the battle really. The battle of I want to do what I love as opposed to I must do what is expected of me. So the 7 of Pentacles is that choice. This is what's expected or this is what's normal as opposed to I'd like to try out what I love. And so over our lifetimes, karmically and our soul, we have always come to this point and made one decision or another, and then the outcome has created that little point of healing and learning. So we've either moved forward from it or we've got stuck in it. So at this moment, with this spread, we are exploring the fact that our feelings are so raw because of external criticism and oppression that we are not clear in ourselves about how we'd like to move forward. We think that we've learnt this thing because the Hierophant's in play, or that we'd like to try this thing about teaching, or we'd like to go and learn something, that we don't understand that the 10 of Cups is actually driving that. We think that if we do this thing, we're going to be happy and content for the rest of our lives. And in reality, our soul journey is about understanding that this is what feeds our soul, or feeds our expectations. Now, neither, in the 7 of Pentacles, neither choice is bad or good. But to understand that it's actually writing the story of this particular instance is that it's about making a choice. Do I want to establish myself in something that I know is, going to establish me and maybe not be as exciting as what I want to do? However, that established road may give us freedom to explore other options. Or is it time to take a chance and say, I know this is going to work. I really want to give it a go now. And that would be the other option of following up a dream. So it's about in the death card space, you can work that out, right? That's what that's all about. It's about knowing who you are in this moment. Is it that you want to establish yourself in something that is traditional, or do you want to take a chance and step out and do something that you know is going to feed your soul this time? So position 10, the outcome. This is the possible outcome for the current, and it's the conclusion to the story of the preceding cards. As with all futures, it can only be possible due to free will. Nothing's ever certain. So in this instance, we have the 2 of Pentacles in the number 10 position. 2 of Pentacles means that we're setting ourselves up for a choice of stepping into something that's going to make us some money. So we're following our heart. We're overcoming those emotional issues or emotional belief systems. Those belief systems that were creating all that emotional turmoil, because we want to step into something that's going to make us some money. Or create something that's stable for us. We know this because the King of Pentacles was the person that influenced us up to that point, but now we must take a chance, step out and give it a go in order to see that work. And the possible future here is when we follow all those things, face our fears, look at our emotional beliefs that are holding us back, and understand that we are looking for contentment. That'll give us the opportunity, the pathway to create something that's going to make us stable and give us independence in ourselves. Because with the 2 of Pentacles, it's the beginning of a journey. It's not the end of a journey. But what I'm feeling from that card is that it's going to give us independence, that we can do this for ourselves. We don't have to keep asking other people or looking for validation outside of ourselves. We have done the work to say, you know what, I trust who I am. I trust that this is a good idea. I know the direction I want to head in now. I'm going to do that and put myself out there. And so you can see, we understand and learn for ourselves that this is actually valid for who we are. So there's some things I want you to consider. Some things. So with this particular spread, the time frame is something that you choose before you do the dealing. So it can be a year, a week, a month, a day, but you must make that intention before you start. Make sure that as the reading goes along, that you're flexible enough to change what you thought. Especially as the story starts to unfold, some of the other cards may reveal the previous cards to be something, inform it to be something different. Also, I remember that when somebody comes with this reading or any reading, that it may not be what they actually want in the moment. They might think that they're coming for this particular question. The cards fall as they may. So yes, their question will be answered, but it may not be particularly from this spread, because this maybe need to be looked at before the other thing that they came to ask about can be even considered. Okay, and also just the other thing to remember, that this can be used for any life event. It can be a general reading, it can be a relationship reading, it can be a moving house reading, finances, health, career, and so forth, even spiritual development. Just make sure that you set that intention before you start so that the cards make sense. But again, don't forget to be flexible. Remember, someone might come and say, I need to know about my job, and it'll be a health issue that might be in the way. So that's why it's important to be flexible and not try and make something fit. Follow your intuition and what your gut is telling you, because the cards will be showing you the story. Anyway, that's the Celtic Cross. I hope you enjoy. Have a go. Let me know how it works for you. You can put some comments in or let me know on my socials. Thank you for joining me. My name's Dr. Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic. Mwah. Much love from me. Bye.